We gotta have this conversation because I really need y'all to master my perception right now. We gotta talk about problem childs and childs with problems. First, before I even touch on that subject, I want to say this. There's a difference between a problem child and a child with a problem. The first difference is children with problems, the problems come from home. That's number one. If you have a child with problems, the problems come from home. That's one. A problem child are children who bring problems home. Problem child is not a child with a problem. It's a child who recognizes the world has a problem with them. Let's get that understood. Let's get the differences straight down the middle. So, how a problem child reacts and how a child with problems react, they're going to be different. And you're going to have to see these signs. You're going to have to notice these signs. Because you can damage your future, your lineage, the reason we have children is not for personal gain. You don't have children so you have something to love. That's one. You don't have children so that you can basically raise the next generation. You don't have them to get assistance for them. You don't have them to basically use them as a resource. Like you can, but that's not the reason we have children. The child don't even come from us. Period. Child comes through us. Child comes from God. Whether you choose to believe that or not. You not in control of shit. Just get that understood. For all these parents out here who think they in control and think, no, technically in the spiritual world, bitch, you the child's brother. You're the older brother. You're the mentor, if you want to call it that. Bitch, you ain't really got no. Second thing I want to say, if you have a child with a problem, if you have a child with problems, the problem is you. Full stop. I don't want to hear, oh, it's hard. Nope. Any child that have problems, the problems come from who they mimic, who they're supposed to mimic, who they're supposed to. And they're forced to carry that. And a child carrying weight on them, especially spiritual weight, especially spiritual confusing weight that they don't understand why they got to carry the shit, is going to be detrimental to everybody that's involved with the child. 2, if you have a problem child, meaning the world has a problem with him, you need to hone in on that child, because that child is a fucking miracle worker. That child will get you out the fucking ghetto. That child will take you to stratospheres upon stratospheres upon levels that you didn't even think you could even touch. We perceive problems as bad things, and that's not the case. Problems are signs, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm mad that I have to even break this down to you, but it is what it is. Problems are signs from God that there is talent. There is something there that needs to be, just like a diamond in the rough, polished. It has to be worked on. It has to be, you have to know. See, A person who has a diamond in the rough, sometimes they don't even realize that that's a diamond. They don't even realize that a compressed ball of coal is valuable. They just see the coal. They just see the black around it. They don't even understand what it could possibly be, what it can manifest into, what it can. If you just put that actual pressure and that polish and that, you know what I'm saying? You got to give it some attention. And you will have something so valuable that everybody want to buy it from you. That just looking at it, people just, their eyes are just drawn to it. For the people who have children with problems, example of that would be an angry child. An example of that would literally be like if your child gets into it with authority figures, if your child gets into it with other kids around them, they have poor communication skills, poor social ability, because we're all social creatures. Humans are the most social creatures among any creature. Like, we need people. We need it. It is if we don't have it, it does something to the mind. That's period. If you start noticing that your child has these anger issues, your child has these, they scream and yell at authority figures, meaning the authority figures can't tell them to do something, whatever. They do all that. They easily cry. The problem is you. You putting too much on, and it usually comes, I ain't even gonna lie to you, it usually comes from single mothers, single black mothers. And this ain't no knock on y'all, because it ain't y'all fault that single black mothers usually are the main reason that children with problems get to points where they have problems. Shit, we all got motherfucking problems. You know what I'm saying? This ain't no blame game. This is a awareness and how to fix it game, right? If you have a child with poor communication skills, the problem is you. You're either being neglectful, or you're being inconsiderate, or you're being unfair. And the child does not know how to process that. So a child doesn't know that he doesn't know. He doesn't know that the way he's acting is because of such and such and such and such. He's just reacting, and this shit confusing. And it usually comes from a dominant matrix, like a dominance matrix, meaning do as the fuck I say do it now, or I'm gonna beat you till you submit. If you notice, most white family structures are set up with both parents. Most black family structures are not. That correlates to how the child perceives the world. Not only that, in a white family structure, typically you can see the parents of white children actually negotiating and making deals with their children. Like, that's part of their raising culture. They don't just, usually, I'm not saying all of them, but most, especially the white families that have both parents in the house, they don't make it an ultimatum law. They don't raise their kids under ultimatums, meaning do as I say do, or I'm going to beat you till you submit. They usually raise children with the negotiation code, with the listen, You need to do this and do this because X, Y, and Z. And you're going to have to, you know what I'm saying? They actually, basically, what I'm trying to say is white people raise the child as the man they're, so when they look at their children, they don't look at the 8-year-old child. They don't look at the 7-year-old child. They don't look at the 9-year-old child. They're looking at the future 34, 35-year-old boy, and they're talking to them like they're talking to them at 35. Listen, you're going to have to get it together, and listen, this is why you have to do this. They actually explain, like if they tell them to do something usually, and I know this because I had a white friend growing up, like literally a white friend, a friend I would go over their house. I could spend the night over there. He could spend the night in my house. Like I actually indulged in their culture. I've seen it. And this nigga was unruly. You hear me? This nigga did not give a fucks about shit. They'd tell him, no, man, what the fuck, man? And she would calmly, listen, you have to do that. You're not, but ma, I don't want to. I know that, but hey, well, you could do, hey, he'll slam the door. Hey, you don't like, and it was constant. It shocked me because I had none of that. You hear me? I came from a single black nigga. It was none of that, nigga. If I was what, I don't want to. Who the fuck you yell? Who the fuck, man? Don't scream it. Like everything that wasn't a yes man was seen as disrespect. You didn't have the freedom to disagree. You didn't have the freedom to state your case, no matter what the fuck the case may be. You could be right. Shit. You know who you talking to? That's basically how black people, nigga, I don't give a fuck if how you feel about the certain shit. Nigga, I'll beat your motherfucking ass you act, you know what I'm saying? That's so detrimental. Even if the child can handle it or not, because especially boys, especially young boys, they can't take that out into the world and get the same results. An 8-year-old boy can't take their perception of, if you don't do what I'm going to say, I'm going to beat your ass, and get their way. It don't work. It only works in a fucking house where a person who is over the child can actually dominate the child because I say so. That's all. They don't give you no explanation. A single black mother won't give you no explanation. She won't explain why. She don't even have the patience to do that. Most of them. I'm not saying all of them. I'm sure there's, you know, what you call it, exceptions to the rule. But most black parents, they don't even like no talk back. They don't even like no, they don't even want their mind to work hard. They don't want to have to explain. And what that does is that creates a sense of, to the child, that creates a sense of she's just doing it because she can. And it is that. Like, you're just doing it because you can. Because when I try to go out and do it, I don't get the same results. People will buck and resist. You take that mentality outside that motherfucking house, nigga, somebody will beat your motherfucking ass, nigga. You tell the teacher, hey, I'm not doing that, and that's final. There's consequences. They're going to write you up there. You don't get away with that scot-free. Women do, so they think that that's how you can. It really don't work. Because there's something called instant gratification, and there's something called basically slow gratification. And the slow gratification is what you want. It's the same way as if you're raising or if you're training a dog. Like, let's say the dog piss. Let's say the dog piss on the motherfucking floor. All right? Instant gratification is walking over to that dog and beating that dog ass. Why did you piss on the floor? Why did you pee over here? And now I gotta mop it up. And now I told you don't pee. Rubbing their face in the piss and shit. You don't do that when you training an animal. Because one, the dog really don't understand the concept of its environment. One, it don't, shit, dog gotta pee, it's gonna pee. And this mind is gonna pee. unless you train it out of. Like, if you whoop a dog won't even really understand why the fuck you whipping it. It'll be so confused. It'll be so scared that no matter what you say or what you do, it don't. And then it will tense up the dog so much that any sign of you getting like that will just shut the dog. The dog will cower down and whimper up, and that's not a dog that you can really have protect you. That's a dog that's going to be afraid of pain. That's a dog that's is not going to understand and just react. That dog could lash out and bite you. And then you might get mad at the dog for biting. How you gonna bite me? Dog don't know shit that's going on. If a dog pee on the floor, it's your motherfucking fault because it's your responsibility to make sure he don't. It's your responsibility to make sure that bladder is empty. Shit, I don't give a fuck if you gotta open the door 15 times and take that dog out 15 times a day. If the dog piss on the floor, it's your motherfucking fault. Whoop your ass. You take responsibility. You got to huff and puff through it. And you can't even yell at the dog because then you're going to confuse and scare the dog. Dog won't even come to you now. Dog will hide from you. The dog might piss on the floor again just because it can't go out or you ain't let it out or whatever and it can't hold it. It might have to pee on the floor. And then it's going to pee on the floor and then going to hide from you. You calling the dog, come here, Roxy. Come here. Dog ain't going to come. Dog would be scared to tell you anything. Dog would be scared to, you know what I'm saying? That's instant gratification. Instant gratification gets you nowhere. You want to teach a dog how to not pee on the floor? You have to take the responsibility to make sure you drain that dog's bladder. Whether you got to walk that dog every day for 30 minutes, 4 times a day, 5 times a day, you have to learn the dog. You have to watch the dog, and when it look like it's about to go around and pee on the floor. Come here. Walk the dog outside. Let it piss and shit. Then reward. You reward the same principle apply. You reward good behavior, ignore the bad. That's basically how I seen the white culture when it comes to raising. They reward the good behavior and they ignore the bad. That's how you develop a relationship, a trust, a bond. Now, the dog wouldn't do it because now the dog will hold the motherfucking pee till it motherfucking explodes just because it's going to want the treat for peeing outside. I get a treat every time I pee outside. Shit, I'm about to hold it till I get this treat. You cannot blame anything that's under your command, your control, your responsibility for fuck-ups. Because one, you have way more awareness than the dog will ever have, than the child will ever have. It is your responsibility. If you take the responsibility of owning or taking care of an animal or a child, it is your responsibility to go out your way to ensure that you don't get the behavior you don't want, and you do it with the reward. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes you might have to, put a little rod in there. I don't think you do, because you don't. But, you can slip up sometimes. Shit. Anger get the best of us a lot of times. Shit. We're not perfect. But we are creatures of habit. And those habits can be monitored. Those habits can be anticipated. Those habits can be guided. First thing they teach you when you have responsibility of a dog or a child, you don't raise the dog or the child, you raise the parent. You teach the parent. You don't teach the dog, you teach the parent. Because the dog or the parent, the parent or the owner is the one that has to pay attention to the signs. If a dog does something you don't like or whatever, you're missing the signs. You cannot blame something that is under your control for doing things you don't like because you can anticipate it. I don't care if you got to watch the dog all day long. I'm talking about literally not watch no TV, not listen to no radio, not pick up your phone and watch for the signs for when he's about to pee in the house. And then you take him outside, you give him a treat. And the dog will understand eventually the correlation between peeing outside, shitting outside, and getting the treat. than you could ever get by whooping a dog and it don't understand shit was going on. All I did was pee. I pee. If I gotta pee, I'm pee. You cannot teach a dog or a child through fear and intimidation. It just will not work. Even if it does work, it will not work. It won't be the very best potential it could be. Do you hear me? Anytime a child gets caught for stealing, they don't just punish the child right then and there. They call you because you're responsible. If your child is out stealing, bitch, it's your fault. Anything that child does, you are responsible. So if that child is stealing, you're stealing. And the way you would teach a child not to steal is you explain to him, man, that's embarrassing. You don't never want to be in those positions. You don't just, oh, you got caught stealing, whooping. Like, no, you have to explain why. A child has to understand. If a child don't understand, it's going to repeat the same mistakes. It's not going to compute. We have to get out of this blaming children. Nobody can blame. I don't give a fuck. If your child is a murderer, it is your fault. I don't care what I said. What I said. If a child is a murderer, it's your fault. If a child is a thief, it's your fault. Because clearly you are neglectful of the tendency. Like, you can't even persuade. If you look at your child as a child and not the man or woman that they're going to be, if you're not talking to your child in the capacity as if you're talking to them as the adult that they will be, then they're never going to have a trust in you. They would never have an understanding as to why I can't do what I want to do. They're mimics. A child mimics behavior. That is the first. That's how they learn language. That's how they learn your mannerisms. They are natural. They're the best mimics ever on the planet. A child can mimic. It just naturally will do it. If you cuss, the child will mimic that. If you don't cuss, the child will mimic that. That's why it's real careful for you single mothers with these boys, because they will mimic shit that you don't even know that you're doing. That's how good they are. You don't even know that you switch when you walk. That child might switch when they walk because it's all that's around is you. Ain't no man for them to mimic. Ain't no man for them to talk like they have to mimic you. So if they get emotional or mad at school when an authority figure, guess who they mimicking? If they start crying, if they easily sensitive, guess who they mimicking? If they're confused and can't learn, guess who they mimicking? That mirror is that mirror is the hardest pill to swallow. Most parents get mad at bad behavior, but don't know the bad behavior is theirs. If you are neglectful, that kid will start neglecting shit, trying to get the same results that you get, but can't because they're too different. Being unaware is the worst thing you can do. It's going to give a child problems. Being unaware, not being able to anticipate, not understanding the full scale of what you need to break down, how you need to break down, the patience with it. You can't even negotiate with your kids. You over here, you just think your way is law. Your way flawed. And expecting them to go out to the world with a flawed perception and think, oh, that they can just do right in school. No. The way you act would not work in that school. That's why they're getting in trouble. The way you talk do not work at school. That's why they're getting in trouble. The way you throw your weight around does not work around authority figures. That's why they get in trouble. You think it's cool to be how you is because you think you have the authority because can't nobody check you. You think that, oh yeah, I got the full custody. I get to do whatever. No, the fuck you don't get to do whatever you want. No, the fuck you don't get to talk however you want to a motherfucking child. No, the fuck you don't get to just beat a motherfucking child because they did something you don't like. Most white people understand this. That's why they will bend over backwards. They will give patients they don't even have. They will go into the bathroom door, close the door, and come out. Okay, Tommy, listen, we're just going to have to work it out. Like, because they understand that will fuck up the lineage. Then their child going to raise children that's going to, no. You want respect, you have to give respect. Even a child deserves respect. Lack of respect will bring problems every fucking time. Stop playing with them children. Accept your responsibility, accept your blame. Over here, giving children with problems, medication, mental medication and shit like that. So, bitch, you need the mental medication. Shouldn't even have I almost said something. I ain't going. You shouldn't. You don't get to do whatever the fuck you. The same. If you don't have to listen to any rules, you don't have to not do what you don't want to do. They're going to do what they don't want. They're going to not do what they don't want to do. If can't nobody tell you nothing, believe you me. When they walk out their house, can't nobody tell them nothing. If you can't talk without cussing, guess what? They're going to be some disrespectful mother. If you can't accept blame, they can't accept blame. Only reason you get away with it is because ain't nobody checking you. Once they take that behavior out them doors, they get checked everywhere. And it's going to lead to problems. That's where children with problems come from. It comes from bad parenting skills, bad training skills, lack of patience, neglectful. You watch more TV than you watch. Matter of fact, you let your kids get raised by a cell phone, by TVs, by a game system. You don't have the time. Hell, you work half the day. Shit, you need at least 2 hours to decompress when you get home. You ain't cooked, you ain't clean, you ain't washed your ass yet. And then you think you got time for no. You're going to have to put some shit on the back burner. Get you a motherfucking spine and talk to that child like you would be talking to a grown-ass respectable man. Work out a deal. What is so wrong with working out a deal with your... Deals are how you progress in the world. A businessman is the best thing you can be, especially as a child, whether you're a businesswoman, businessman, and that shit comes from contract, negotiation, and agreement. If you expect a child to make it in this world, you have to get them used to making agreements, get them used to making deals, get them used to making good communication, skilled relationships. They can't just be talking with anger. So don't talk to them with anger. Don't be putting extra stress on them. Oh, you mad? You come home and, oh, y'all need to clean my kitchen. No, the fuck we don't. Bitch, we did enough. You getting child support and all type of shit because you had you clean that motherfucking kitchen. Bitch. Put that responsibility on no motherfucking child. They still in their imagination creation. The only thing you need to work out is deals with them. If you can do this and be good at school, then I'll do it. And you hold up to that shit. That's how they hold up to it. That's how they understand and garner the respect for you. And you give them the tools they need to get the respect from the world. Everybody loves a person they can agree with. Everybody loves a person they can negotiate with. Everybody loves a person that honors, respect. You disrespect a person outside in this outside world, they gonna disrespect you. But you think it's cool because it's your house? No, it's their house. You think they gotta do some dishes for you? No, you do the dishes for them. So they can, bruh, laziness creates problems. Impatience creates problems. Lack of accountability creates problems. Now they going to school mad, whooped, and then they see all these happy children around, children that parents respect them and whatever. Of course it's gonna make them mad. They're going to feel sad. You think kids don't get a dynamic? Bro, they can get the dynamic at home, but once they go outside that home, if the dynamic don't match up with the outside world, it will make them sad. It will make them depressed. It take a lot of work to depress a child. And if you are capable of having a depressed child, bitch, you are unfit. If you got to force your kids to clean up and shit because you don't feel you have to, or you think that because you have kids, then you unfit. If you think children are your fucking slaves, you are unfit. If you think that you can yell and scream a child into doing whatever, you want that instant gratification rather than the slow gratification, you are unfit. You should not have it. You gonna fuck up the child's life, and that child might fuck around, kill something. Ruin all type of families. Like, bruh, you unfit. It's you. Second thing, if you have a problem child, you need to understand that the world has a problem with the child. A problem child, I'll give you an example of a problem child. Problem child is a child that's too smart for its own good. It goes to school and notices everything. He remembers everything. Like a teacher might say, Timmy, you need to basically sit down. You're getting up and running around too much in class or whatever, right? Timmy be like, but if I sit down too long, then the lactic acids in my muscles will actually make my legs cramp. Therefore, I need to get up and stretch from time to time. They'll be like, oh shit, he gonna be a problem. Like, that motherfucking kid be like, yeah, kids need to stretch out from time to time because, oh shit, how the fuck do he know? Oh yeah, he's gonna be a problem because he's gonna challenge me. It ain't just no easy, I have to make it make sense to this child. And a lot of the shit we teach do not make it make sense. So the child can play chess. Even if it's not advanced chess, they can play chess a little bit. A lot of adults hate to be challenged. So they will call whatever they disagree with the child as a problem. They're classified as a problem. And then send the child home with problems. But at home, the child is perfectly fine. The child don't bother nobody. Child does everything you want him to do. But somehow, some way, he come home with some problems. A child with problems go to school with problems. A child with problems go out into the world with problems. This is how you actually bank off your problem child, because your problem child will be the star of your family. I guarantee you that. Because his mind will always be working. His mind is always doing battle. His mind is always pushing his limits, and he's not afraid to listen to answers, not to react, but to learn so that he can use it at a later date. He's picking up tendencies or whatever. A child that is so smart that it can challenge with words and challenge with actual intellect, most adults perceive that as disrespect. Most adults just perceive, well, he should just do what I say he should do. And that's not really how you want a child to be, because if a child gets to that point where anybody can just tell them to do whatever the fuck, they ain't even gonna challenge it. A person can tell them, hey, go jump off that bridge. Be like, bro, why would I jump off the bridge if the bridge is this many feet tall? Like, nigga, why don't you just jump off the bridge? That ain't no problem child. That's a smart child. That's one. Whatever they tell you that problem is with that problem child, you need to hone in on that. Those are skills. For example, if your child rap a lot, let's say your child love music, so in class he's always singing lyrics and rapping about shit or whatever, and the teacher tells you like, hey, you know, your son every day comes in with rap or whatever, like, if you sit over here and just listen to that and take that as, oh, well, you need to just stop rapping, then, you know what I'm saying? You missing your blessing. You tell your son, you tell that problem child, like, listen. They saying you rapping all the time, right? It's causing an inconvenience because they calling me and talking about this. So this is what we gonna do. Since you like to rap, I need you to memorize 3 old school rap songs. Like, you pick the songs too, the NWA, whatever. You need to rap them word for word for me. Every day, I'm gonna pick 3 songs. I need you to rap them word for word for me. Like, you need to memorize them, and then I'm gonna switch up and I'm gonna throw out some songs, like just like those little those TikToks where, you know, they got the people by the pool in the chair and they'll start singing the song, they'll play the song, then they'll stop the music, and if you don't know the lyrics to the song, you gotta take a swim. That's how you should be. Yeah, since you like to do this, since you like to, then in order for you not to get in trouble, in order for you not to show me you can actually memorize some shit, like, by the time you do 1,000 songs, bro, they'll be rich and famous off of that. They could go anywhere, recite any, like, bro, you have to build into the child. Like, if they can't sit still in the classroom and the teacher says, well, that's a problem. They just can't sit still. They don't sit down for too long. Well, you tell him this, listen, all right, since you can't sit down in school or whatever, and I need you to sit down in school, I'm gonna make you a deal. Every Friday, I'm gonna take you to a neighborhood or a racetrack or a park, and we're gonna find all the kids. And I'm going to challenge them to beat you in a race. If you lose 5 races, you in trouble. You on punishment. If you win all 10 races, I don't give a fuck what they talking about. I just deal with whatever they talking about. But since you can't sit down, we need to hone in on that. If they tell you your child is a problem child because he likes to fight a lot, instead of you getting on that child for fighting a lot and why are you always fighting in such and such, you need to put that child in some boxing classes. Listen, you ain't gonna get in trouble for fighting no more. Like, you want to fight, you want to be standoffish, that's cool. Show me you can win 10 fights. Matter of fact, put these gloves on. We gonna take you down to a gym. We gonna schedule, you know what I'm saying, every day. We gonna take you to box. Like, you like to fight, we gonna fight. We gonna show me you like to fight. I'm gonna put you up against some, you know what I'm saying? But here's the deal. You can't get in trouble at school no more. If you start losing these fights, when they tell me you getting into fights, you getting in trouble now. But you can win 10 fights in a row, shit, you ain't in trouble. Shit, fuck what they talking about. We about to get rich off these boxing skills. We about to get rich off the fact that you can recite all the songs. But if you can't recite all the songs, then nigga, you in trouble. You know what that child will do? Boy, them childs will win every fucking fight. Them childs will, ooh, what? Deal. Bet. All I gotta do is memorize some songs? What? Bet. Tell me the songs, daddy. Shit might start shocking you. Oh, damn, I ain't know it was that good. Shit. I see why he be fighting in school. Shit. He ain't playing with these niggas. Shit, I see why he be rapping, bro. That nigga can memorize. Damn, I forgot these goddamn songs. This nigga, like, we over here letting them take away our children. So, like, they're showing you who they are. The people just don't like it. So they label them a problem child. You're not doing it how I would do it. If I was a kid, I wouldn't just fight all the time. Well, bitch, you just ain't good at it then. My son lies, shit. I'll take him. I'm telling him like this. Listen, you fighting at school all the time, it's a problem, bro. So every day we gonna schedule you 2 fights outside of school with the glow. You know what I'm saying? But if you start losing the fights after school, or you start fighting too much in school, you're just gonna have to not fight in school. You're gonna have to save all that fighting shit till after school, to where I can take you to these little schedules. You know what I'm saying? If you can't do that, ain't no more fights after school. Ain't no more. You know what I'm saying? You have to work with the damn child. Child ain't your mother. Nigga, you can't control the personality of that child. You can't control what that child is good at. You can't tell that child, don't do that because you don't understand, or that's not what you would do. Fuck you. It's about the child. Develop the child. Over here getting mad at, nigga, that's natural ability. Can't stop a child from being good at what it's good at. It will show you. A child will always show you what he is good at. Or she. You can't expect every child to just be good at shit. Some kids don't know how to shoot a basketball. They don't care about shooting a basketball. Some kids don't know how to fight. They don't care about fight. They will go out their way to fight. I mean, not to fight. They're just naturally good at studying and remembering what they read in the textbook. So you will reward them skills, but a person who likes to fight, is good at fighting, but ain't good at reading the textbook or remembering what's in the textbook, you're going to punish them? No. Hone in on what they're good at. Polish that shit up. That is a diamond in the rough. Quit wanting that instant gratification. Instant gratification is fucking our culture up. Y'all ain't no motherfucking tyrants. Y'all ain't no. Just because you can don't mean that you should. Just because you can beat a child into submission, just because you can put a child on punishment for whatever they do wrong, don't mean you fucking should. Just because you can get your way and force your kids to do whatever the fuck you tell them, don't mean that you should. What you should do is understand that they will be 40 years old one day. Talk to them as what you would want them to be at 40 years old. Don't talk to them at no 8-year-old level. You know what I'm saying? You have to actually give them insight, give them guidance into how they should be at 40. And you have to put that in early. And that takes patience. It takes understanding. It's not a race. It is a marathon. Obedience is not snapping my finger. Hey, hurry up. Child ain't gonna trust you. Child ain't gonna tell you the real shit. Child ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna know where your child at, what he doing, none of that. Chasing that instant gratification. You have to build these bonds. Children are not fucking animals. They all different. Can't expect a child to just fit in at school. You can't expect some child just it's not them. It's not what they're good. It's not what they're meant for. If they fight a lot, they're meant to fight. Let the motherfuckers fight after school. Take them, get them 30 matches. If they not good at it, then you can't fight no more. You fight, bro, you getting punished. You know what I'm saying? But you have to develop a relationship. You have to stop looking at everything like it's bad thing. Like, I'm going to leave it there. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.